how far can my ability take me? And that excites me. I had a carton of juice, big carton, and I was drinking it. People were looking at me like, and then I got back and I had a friend, I said to her, everyone was looking at me while I was drinking the juice. She said, oh, because the carton that you're drinking, some people have that for a week. And I believe there's a plan for everyone, just follow it. And as long as you apply yourself and you do what's in your control, then you're okay.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Boxing Science Podcast. This is an interview with Lerrone Richards in a very different feel, different look to the podcast that we've had in previous. We're doing it serious now. We've got Jamie on board to do the videography and we're going to be doing this more often as well. So we're excited for this new format of the podcast, and we thought who else better to start it with than none other than Lerrone Richards, fresh off his win from the IBO Super-Middleweight World Championship. Lerrone is a fantastic character to have about the gym, and I love just like talking to him about different stages of his career, how he's relaxed, how he reflects on his progress that he's made over a relatively long career compared to his fights. He's only had 16 fights now, but he's been around the professional game for 9 years, and also he's got an extensive amateur record as well. Something that not many people talk about as often. So we wanted to get into that, talking about how he represented Ghana and had to live in Ghana for several months in his bid to go to the 2012 Olympics. Talks about periods of inactivity in professional boxing and his hopes and aspirations for the future. So it's a fantastic episode. Great to chat to Lerrone. I hope you enjoy it. So before we start all this, I want to give a special shout out to our brand new partners, Saga Fitness. Saga Fitness is specialists in BFR training technology. So BFR is blood flow restriction, where we restrict the blood flow to a working muscle in order to look for strength and muscular hypertrophy gains without excessive weight load. So we use this with the boxers looking for functional muscular hypertrophy and also working back from injuries as well, because we're able to target adaptations under less load or less intensity. There's many associated benefits. If you want to read our article on blood flow restriction training, the link is in the description. And also if you're wanting to know more about Saga Fitness or wanting to get some bands, check out the link in the description. The reason why these bands are so good is because when we started using blood flow restriction training, or otherwise known as occlusion training, we use like bands to like kind of create like some tension on the arms or on the lower body. But this was all done through guesswork, but sometimes we underloaded it, sometimes we overloaded it, and there is some associated risks with blood flow restriction training. With the Saga Fitness bands, we're able to set a pressure setting that is accurate and also bespoke to that individual. So if they find it too hard, we can take down the pressure. If they find it too easy, we can up the pressure as well. It's eliminating that guesswork and is really effective tool, and it's something that we've used in Lerrone's training and obviously working across the boxing science athletes. So I highly recommend that you go and check that out and find out more about blood flow restriction training. Link is in the description, and if you're wanting to get your hands on some Saga Fitness bands, the link is in the description, and also a discount code for this as well. Let's get on with this week's podcast episode with IBO Super-Middleweight Champion of the World, Lerrone Richards. So Lerrone Richards and the new IBO Super-Middleweight Champion of the World. How does that feel?
It feels good. I'm so happy. All the hard work that I put in had paid off, and I'm so excited about what the future holds now.
Talk to me about that fight. How did that come about? What were your feelings going towards a fight, and obviously how it played out on fight night?
Well, initially I wasn't really looking for Carlos Gongora, and I was sort of looking for a step up after the European title fight. And obviously there's some names in the hat, and they offered me Carlos Gongora, and I was like, yeah, let's go. A top rated super middleweight, one of the hardest punching in the division, the most dangerous. And I was like, yeah, let's take up this challenge. And went from there. And obviously Saturday night, it was a tactical fight. I had to be really smart and really disciplined in my approach. And yeah, we got the victory.
Yeah, first time I came across Carlos Gongora, I was tuning in for the Golovkin, so I met a fight, and that was like literally a year to the day.
Yes.
On Saturday night, and I watched him against Akhlimayev, and I was messaging Callum Beardo at the same time, and I was saying this Gongora was really good. Yeah. It's punching hard. I think he's going to win. Like, he was coming back into the fight, it was really dangerous. So I followed his career from there. Obviously, he got another good win, good knockout, and then when he came up to fight you, it gave me the goosebumps, because I was like thinking, you've got the skill set to beat him, but he's a really good fighter. And I think sometimes with boxers, they can end up being a little bit too careful with their career. And I don't know whether that's like not wanting to take the risk, because you know what a loss can do for a fighter. You back down the order. Yeah. How confident was you going into that fight?
I was very confident. One thing I've always had is belief. From the start of my career, I've always believed in myself, and I know I've got the skill set to beat anyone in the division, and I knew that I beat Carlos Gongora, and not only beat him well.
Did he meet your expectations in the ring?
He did. In fact, he was even better than what I thought. But I knew he was good. 2-time Olympian. You know, he had a good amateur pedigree. Also a good professional IBO champion. So I knew he brought a lot to the table, but I just believed, and I knew that I had more. Yeah.
I think my kind of nerves for the fight was not in terms of you being good enough. I knew that you were good enough, but it's the step up in levels.
Yes.
Because I've been there before where a boxer stepped up in levels, and even though technically skill for skill should have the ability to beat him, but getting in that ring, and when you step up to British, European, and then world level, it's always hard to kind of step up. What kind of things have you learned from Saturday night, from stepping up to that world level?
Yeah, do you know, it was small things, you know, like, it might sound a bit silly, but you know, we walk into the ring and there's flags in the ring, and you think to yourself, whoa, like...
Yeah, that's what I said to Jordan. I says, you know, you're in a big fight when you've got the flags in the ring.
Yeah, I was like, there's flags in the ring. I was like, this is a big fight.
Yeah.
So little things like that. And like, when I got in the ring, it was like, I enjoyed my ring walk like I always do. And I got in the ring and I was like, yeah, this is world level. This is where I'm meant to be. And obviously the fight started, and just little things that I learned in the fight that you need to have at world level. And obviously now I got the victory. They're things that I'm going to continue working on in the gym with Dave.
Yeah. So leading up to that fight, reminding you is how hard you've worked in camp over 6-7 months, but then also reminding you that it's 20 years of hard work. So let's go all the way back to the start. Yeah. How did you get into boxing?
Well, I started boxing at the age of 6.5. My dad took me to the gym.
Exactly, 6.5.
6.5, yeah. So dad took me to the gym because I had a lot of energy as a kid, and he was like, what other way to burn it? Where my dad done Thai boxing when he was younger, he was like, boxing might be a good thing for me to do. So I started off at Kingston Amateur Boxing Club, and it all started there. So going to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday after school, and with Freddie Barr. He was my coach at the time. And just pushed on. And as I started to enjoy boxing more, my dad took me from Kingston to Repton, where I won most of my national titles there.
How far away was that from where you lived?
It's like an hour, 45 minutes.
An hour, 45 minutes?
Yeah, depending on the traffic. My dad done a lot. My mum and my dad done a lot, driving me back and forth. So I owe a lot to them. Yeah.
It's like a lot of people talk about the commitment of an athlete, but in them early days, which is so important to build up them foundations for your career, you depend so much on your family.
On your family,
I've seen it when I first noticed it because I never got to academy level when I played football. I trained twice a week and then played on a Sunday. Yeah. But I knew from some of my friends that were going to the academy, how often they trained. And then when I was at Sheffield United Academy as a strength and conditioning coach, seeing like these young kids turning up like 4 or 5 days a week to train. And then the parents are stood there and waiting there, and like then you find out that they're travelling an hour, thinking what all the working commitments and everything like that. It kind of, when you're a kid, you don't realise it, like the commitment levels of the parents. But when you're actually growing up and being around them and thinking, wow, these parents having to stand about for training and travelling there. What was the reason why you went to Repton, and what was Repton Boxing Club like?
So Kingston was a good club. I learnt the basics there. Freddie Barr was a very good coach. But I felt like I outgrew it. There wasn't a lot of, say, juniors there. I met a man called Tim Ward in Kingston, and he said, look, you've got so much ability. He told my dad, he's got ability. Why don't you take him to Repton? So my dad took me to Repton at the age of 12, 13, 12 and a half, 13. And it was different. It was like, whoa, because when I started sparring, I was constantly sparring national champions after national champions, and the level was completely...
Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, but it was like, it was hard when I first got to Repton. The sparring was really hard because I never operated at that level before. So I learned a lot at Repton, and it took me to another level.
And it's quite inspiring, all the pictures on the wall. Tell me about your picture being there.
Yeah, so there's a wall in Repton, and it's got all the champions. It's obviously got names like Audley Harrison, Darren Barker, Gary Barker. The list goes on.
Sonny and Charlie Edwards.
Sonny, Charlie Edwards. There's a lot of talent on there. A lot of talent on that wall, and I really wanted to get on that wall for history. Yeah, and it took me 6 national titles to get on that wall. It was hard, but I got there in the end. Yeah.
So what national titles did you win? All like youth and junior?
Yeah, so I won everything as a youth and a junior. I just missed out on the senior ABAs.
Yeah. So talk to me about kind of being a senior amateur. Quite interesting story about you going to Ghana to represent Ghana. Talk to me about how that came about, some of the experiences from there.
So I wanted to go 2012 Olympics, and obviously being at the time national champion at 75 kilos, I wanted to fight the senior champion, who at the time was Anthony Ogogo.
Oh, right, yeah.
But obviously he was selected to go for GB. So because I really wanted to go to Olympics, I thought, let me find another way. So my mum's obviously of Ghanaian heritage, my dad's Jamaican, and I was like, let's go for Ghana. So I got a dual nationality. And then I flew off to Ghana, and I was fighting all the Ghanaian champions out there.
Yeah. How long did you spend out there when you went?
I was out there for 4 or 5 months,
Wow.
Yeah, I was out there for a while.
How do you find like adapting to the culture out there?
I loved it. I loved it. Obviously the food I loved, the people, I loved. And because you know what, it's like they don't have as much as what we have here, but yet they're happy.
Wow.
So I saw like a different way of life. Yeah. It's a story, right? So I left mine, I was thirsty. So I was like, let me walk down to the roadside. So I'm walking with my flip-flops to the roadside. Yeah.
How fast or slow were you walking?
Relatively quite slow. And I went to the shop to get juice. Yeah. And I had a carton of juice, big carton, and I was drinking it, walking back. And people looking at me like I was mad. And then I got back, and I had a friend, her name was Rose, really good friend of mine. And I said to her, everyone was looking at me while I was drinking the juice. She said, oh, because the kind that you're drinking, some people have that for a week.
Wow.
And I was just like, wow. And then I realized that I have it good,
So gives you a real perspective when you go to a place like that.
Yeah. Ghana's a lovely country, and I learned a lot when I was out there. Like, I know it sounds a bit cliche, but I went there a boy and I came back a man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it changed me. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's an experience that most people don't have.
Yeah.
To be able to go and do
Crazy.
that. I want you to repeat the story that you were saying to me the other day about the big puncher that you boxed, because obviously, like, we're going into a fight against Gongora, you're going past you're reflecting on past experiences.
Yes.
And you talked to me. I forgot the guy's name.
His name is Emmanuel Marte. Yeah.
The biggest puncher that you faced.
Oh, he was. Oh. So, yeah. So he was a southpaw, and Emmanuel Marte, he ain't been beaten for a while in Ghana. Really good quality operator, and I beat him. I remember boxing. I had to be really smart, really smart. And I learned a lot about myself that day as well, because I knew that I can operate with punches. Because in Ghana, all you're fighting is punches.
Yeah.
You know, so I learned when I was in Ghana, I was tough. And I remember he hit me with the most ferocious uppercut. Yeah. My bottom lip was blue for like 2 weeks. So that was the story about Emmanuel Marte.
And it was quite hostile territory.
Oh yeah, hostile, very hostile. There was people shouting in the language, "Kill him."
Yeah.
Yeah, kill him. Oh mate, what an experience.
Yeah.
What an experience.
So what happened in terms of like getting to the Olympics? How far did you get? Did you become Ghanaian national champion?
Yes.
And then...
So I became number 1 in Ghana.
Yeah.
And then we travelled for a training camp in Azerbaijan.
All right.
And then came back and then went to Morocco for the Olympic qualifiers, where I got to the quarterfinal.
Okay.
I got beat by the world number 3 Algerian, which I'd say the decision was debatable, but I got beat. And so I just missed out on the Olympics.
Yeah.
Because if I had beat him, then I would have qualified for 2012.
Yeah. Yeah. And from there, what were your decision then? Were it to go straight professional, or did you have another crack at the amateurs again? So
when I got back, I was in two minds really. But then I went back into the ABAs.
Yeah.
And I lost in the semi-finals.
Yeah.
And then after I got beat in the semi-final, I was like, it's time.
Time to turn pro.
Yeah, it's time to turn professional.
Yeah, talk to me about the other days. Professional, you set up, kind of promotional, like kind of you've gone the long route.
Yeah, so
small old shows.
Turn professional. Usually people with national titles and amateur pedigree get like a promoter backing them, but I had no promoter backing me. I got on a show with Miranda Carter, so I got a big shout out to Miranda Carter who put me on her show, boxing on Sunday shows.
Yeah,
getting paid nothing. Sometimes £50, just here and there. But this is the time where I didn't really know boxing was a business. I just thought it was just a hobby. And I was just enjoying what I did. So it started off really slow, under the radar. Yeah.
So when did you start getting noticed and getting onto like kind of bigger cards?
So on my third professional fight, I boxed in Hull on the Eddie Hearn show.
Oh yeah, same one as Gary McDonnell and Lee Wood.
And Lee Wood, that one, yeah.
So that's when you first crossed paths.
Yes,
with,
it was
Jordan.
Yeah. And Dave.
Yeah.
It was a good experience. I boxed okay. I boxed well against a guy with a winning sort of record, 50-50 record, and I thought I was going to sort of move on from there. I'll be on the shows a lot more often, but I went back on the Miranda Carter show, and then I sort of had managerial problems. I was just getting messed around, and I had to wait 2.5 years out of the ring.
Wow.
Yeah.
What, total not fighting for 2.5 years?
Didn't fight for 2.5 years, but.
And how did you stay motivated during then?
Oh, well, I stayed positive. Yeah. I was thinking, you know what, I'm young. I still got a lot to learn, so let me spar. Let me become a sparring partner. So I was sparring lots of Billy Joe Saunders. I was Billy Joe Saunders' main sparring partner for Andy Lee.
Oh, wow.
And then I was sparring George Groves, doing little rounds with George. Tony Bellew.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was getting around.
Didn't realise he sparred Bellew.
Yeah, I sparred Tony Bellew
whilst he was a light heavyweight, I guess.
Yeah, I sparred him for the Adonis Stevenson.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's obviously southpaw.
Yeah, so I was getting around, just gaining as much experience as I could. And then when the 2.5 years was done, I signed with Frank Warren.
Yeah, so it's amazing to go out and get them sparring experiences. Did you do anything to like kind of get the most out of it, like in terms of like reflecting and getting feedback from?
Yeah, so after I would have sparred them, I'd ask them about, you know, what should I improve on, this, that, and they'll give me good feedback.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
They'll give me good feedback. And I learned a lot about myself, obviously being in the ring with them, because they're high level operators.
Yeah.
And taking
in the
little
prime
bits,
as well.
And in their prime, yeah. So yeah, it was great. It was a great experience.
Which would you say was the most valuable experience out of that in terms of sparring?
What, in terms of the fighter? I would say George Groves. George Groves was good. I learned a lot from George Groves. Tony Bellew, I sparred him only twice, but whereas George Groves, I sparred him a lot more frequently. Yeah. So I'll say George Groves.
When you spar people more frequently, but you're more likely to get the best out of them.
Yes.
Because one, they adapt to you.
Yeah.
And two, you're not going to catch them just on a bad day.
That's it, yeah.
You're going to catch them on every day possible bad day and a very good day as well. Yeah. So you end up getting the best out of him.
And George Groves.
What fight was he preparing for?
I sparred George Groves when he was meant to box Jamie Cox. That's one.
Okay.
And there was another guy. That was a southpaw. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not Badu Jack, is it? He's not.
No. I can't remember. But yeah, I was sparring George for that.
Wow. Some amazing experiences.
Yeah, it was great. And like, even now, the things that I learned from the spars, I still use now in my fights. So it's put me in great stead.
Another thing that kind of is prolonged your like kind of progress in your career in terms of inactivity is the injuries that you've had in terms of your shoulder.
Yeah.
Just explain a little bit more how they come about and serious.
Yeah. I've had some serious operations on my shoulder, and it's no one really knows about it. But it took me a long time to get back, and it hindered my boxing for a long period of time. There was at times where I was just fighting with one arm, and no one noticed. But it took me a long time. It took me a lot of commitment to just continue to build it up so it got strong. And obviously now it's near enough 100% now, so can't complain. So
with your shoulder injuries, that's when you first started doing better strength conditioning. How did that help?
Yeah, so when I started doing strength, it's sort of like, obviously it increased obviously the strength of my shoulder, but then at the same time made me realize how weak it actually was. Obviously after the operation, there'll be days where it felt like it was getting better, and then days where it felt like I was starting from square one. So like I just had to stick at it, and yeah, it's made a huge difference now.
A lot of people think of strength conditioning, improving speed, in power, explosiveness, but injury prevention is a massive key.
Yeah, and I read something that if I had done strength before my operation, or if I'd done it before, then I probably wouldn't have got the injuries. And if I had the injuries and I was doing sort of rehab on it, and I was doing all the exercises, then I would have it wouldn't have been so career threatening.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy how I come back, but like I said, I'm very, very, very committed. Yeah. And if I want something and it's realistic, I always get it.
Yeah. What stops you from doing strength conditioning before?
I think it's just not knowing. I didn't know the benefits. When I'm looking into it and being around sort of fighters, say like George Groves, and I'm seeing, okay, he's doing a bit of strength here. And, you know, you hear Tony Belly talking about strength here, and you think, okay, I'm missing out on something here. And then you start to add things. And as you start to progress in your career, you start to add things to improve yourself. And since I started doing strength, I've not turned back because I know the benefits.
Yeah, that's great. So you've moved up to here around about 18 months ago now. Yes. So middle of 2020, middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
What was your choice to uproot, move to Rotherham and train with Dave Caldwell?
Yeah, so earlier on that year I was in Vegas and I was training with Ismail Salas, and it was great, learning so much out there. Pandemic hit, had to fly back. And then when the restrictions sort of lowered, I needed a coach, and I got asked by my management team, S-Jam, to think about a coach that I would want to train with. And I was like, what guy would be best for my style? I need a world level coach. And I looked around and I was like, Dave Caldwell. So I believe they contacted Dave, and then it all went from there. Yeah.
What kind of attracted you towards Dave being... in terms of his style of fighters?
Well, I'm quite funny when it comes to certain things. So I would watch a lot of videos before I meet someone. Like if they're on YouTube, I'd watch them and see their body language and hear the way they speak. And I thought, okay, he's smart. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. He's very experienced. Obviously, with the successes that he's had with a few champions, obviously notably Tony Belly. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I want to work with this guy, but let me just see how it works first. And then when I started doing pads with him and started doing a few things, I was like, well, I'm learning. I'm learning here because I'm like a sponge. I always like learning. And then I wanted to work with Dave soon. And then I thought, you know, I want to work with him and we have a future.
What improvements have you seen in yourself?
My attitude's improved. I've always had a good attitude, but even more so now, like, it's just different. It's a world-class attitude. I met you through Dave. Dave recommended you to me and he was like, this guy's good strength coach. I was like, okay, go on YouTube again, let me see.
Enough content on there. Jamie makes me look good on there. Better than what I am.
And it's like, yeah, I like this guy. Let me just see how this guy, how we get on, and we got along well, and everything's just gelled together. Yeah, perfectly.
And we've progressed into Boxing Science Performance Centre, but when we first met, it was in a field in Winkerbank. He turned up on the hottest day of the year with a sweatsuit on. Yeah. And basically I told you to warm up, to do a steady run, and you just jogged the slowest jog I've ever seen. Yes. I think I could walk faster, to be honest, mate.
Man, I thought it was fast.
And I was just looking, and I was just thinking, yeah, I've got my work cut out here.
Yeah. I thought I was running fast.
Yeah. But that's like you had a very good like kind of base for strength training and very good attitude towards strength training. The main thing for me was the conditioning. What kind of held you back from doing like kind of high intensity conditioning?
Well, obviously before I met you, I was doing strength, but I never done conditioning in such like there was a science to it. Yeah. And you just brought me, you put something new to the table, and I was just like, whoa, I didn't know this even existed. What have I missed? I'm not getting the best out of myself. And obviously now working with you and over the last 18 months, it's like, take me to the next level and just want to keep improving.
Yeah, and probably seeing the main difference between your performances from your British title fight, where you did 12 rounds, but then you were fatiguing some parts of that, and then obviously a European title fight. Yeah. What was the key differences there in terms of your fitness?
Well, The fitter you are, obviously the longer you can go, but also helps with your concentration.
Yeah.
And in boxing, that's one thing you need is concentration. And it's improved my performance in leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
Like the boxing and the strength has worked, and the conditioning has worked hand in hand, because I'm now an elite athlete, and there's no ceiling. I know there is so much more for me to improve. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely exciting, because like you think like the shape that you're in, the numbers that you're hitting, the performance that you put in on Saturday night.
Yeah.
But then there's still areas for improvement there, which is really exciting, because most people would be satisfied with what you've achieved.
Yeah.
And the performances that you're putting in. But you're a perfectionist to the point where, you need to appreciate your progress.
Yes.
You need to reflect on it and think like, how far have you come? But at the same time, it's like to get up to that elite standard, you need to keep improving. I think
the matter about, like, say, success, being grateful, but then not being satisfied. Like, I want to push my body. I want to see, when it comes to training, I want to push my body to the highest. How far can I push my body?
Yeah.
And when it comes to the boxing, how far can my ability take me?
Yeah.
And that excites me. So yeah, the future's bright.
So it's been a successful year, 2021.
Yeah.
European and IBO world champion now. How do you reflect on this year? Because obviously 2020 was a tough year for you.
Yeah, it's tough. It's been crazy, really. It's been a tough year for everyone. With this COVID and the virus going around. So I'm so happy that I've achieved what I've achieved this year. I think this year as well has shown, like, I've been able to, I've had the platform to show everyone who I am.
Yeah.
Like, I don't take myself too seriously. I like to have a laugh. I like to have fun. I can be serious at times, but I like to have a laugh and enjoy myself, because that's what life's about, being happy and enjoying yourself. So I've had the opportunity to do that. I've had the opportunity to showcase my skills to the world, and win the titles. And 2022 is going to be a big year for me.
So what are your goals for 2022?
To keep improving, to keep being the best me.
Yeah.
That's what I always say every year.
Yeah, be the best possible version of yourself. That's important.
That's it. And then whatever happens after that happens.
Yeah.
I'm in line now, I think, for big fights. I put myself in that position. But yeah, the future's bright. I just need to now focus on myself and developing strength. Obviously main thing, the boxing element.
Yeah.
And then I'll fulfill my dreams.
What are your dreams?
I don't really like to say what my dreams are, but
I don't make for an exciting podcast, mate.
Yeah. But I know that if I apply myself and I apply myself and do the right things, then I'll end up achieving them.
Yeah, I like that, because everyone says about having a 5-year goal or set goals for the year and everything like that. But with that, it applies pressure and expectations. So and then there's curveballs in the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, with the pandemic, that's paused a lot of people's progress.
Yes.
So then the expectations aren't met. Mm-hmm. So then they might end up being a bit down on themselves, or not really reflecting in the right way and putting things into perspective. And also, if you set up some goals, it might limit you.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't set out a goal to be IBO Super-Middleweight champion this year.
No, I didn't.
And the opportunity came. with me, like in terms of like boxing science, I didn't expect to be in a facility like this at this stage of my career. Through the pandemic and everything like that, the business has totally changed, and we're achieving so much more than kind of what I set out. So a lot of people kind of say to set goals, to set dreams, but then if you don't do that, then it's you need to be motivated.
Yes.
You need to be aspirational, but at the same time, you don't want to limit yourself too much, and also put that pressure on yourself, because if you don't achieve it in a certain time frame, then that might hinder your motivation going forward. Yeah,
I think it helps with sort of my personality, because I'm just quite laid back.
Yeah.
So I just go with the flow, and whatever happens. I believe there's a plan for everyone.
Yeah.
So the plan is already written, so just follow it. And as long as you apply yourself and you do what's in your control.
Yeah. Control the controllables.
That's it. Then you're okay.
Something that you're really good at, and I don't think that you actually realise, is visualisation. And that's a sports psychology thing. And have you ever done anything like that before?
What, like study sports psychology?
Or work with sports psychologists or anything?
No.
So, like, when we've talked about the Gongora fight, you've said exactly what you're going to do in terms of like your tactics and stuff. I'm just going to use my jab, just go pop, 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 all stuff like that, and then I'm going to work on the inside. I'm going to ting, 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 stuff like that, and it's all like said in jest. But I was like watching that and thinking, that's visualization, and that's really an important sports psychology trait. So I just wondered.
No, never.
How does that help you, like going through like kind of what you can do in a fight?
It's weird, because I think it's sort of like, that's mad that you say that, because I didn't really realise. Yeah.
You've got good sports psychology traits.
Yeah.
In terms of like, do you know, like talking about the sparring, reflecting, and then you ask for the advice, like after the fight, like you went straight up to Tony Bellew and went, have you got any tips?
Yeah.
On what I can improve on?
That's it, yeah.
And that's great sports psychology, really. And sometimes you need to be taught how to do that, but sometimes it just happens by accident.
It's true, yeah. I think you can't be ignorant, you can't think you know it all. Sometimes you need to ask questions. Yeah. And like even through positives, or say I got the win on the weekend, look at what you have to look and think, okay, what can I improve on? Obviously enjoy the win, but look at what can I improve on. I'm not the finished article. Yeah. Not the finished article at all. But see, that's what excites me, because I'm like, how far can I push myself? That wasn't 40% of me. Yeah. I know that. Others that see me box might think, okay, that's like 60% of Lerrone, but I know that's only 40.
So that's still impressing a lot of people, mate.
So when it hits 100, and it will hit 100 because of my commitment and my attitude, I'm going to be a very, very hard man to beat.
It'll hit 100 right at the right time.
Yeah, I'm a very, very hard man to beat. I'm laughing now, but yeah, I'm very, very hard to beat.
No, when you go into the change rooms, I've never seen anyone so relaxed. Is that just happens natural?
I think it's experience.
Yeah.
I've had I had 100 amateur fights. I just believe in myself. It's not false. I know what I do. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm capable of doing. Fully believe in myself, and I know when to switch on. I don't need to. Why do I need to, like, obviously some people do things differently. Some people get nervous. Whereas like me, I'm like, I know when to switch on. Yeah. That's in that ring. Yeah. I know my job.
Yeah. Before it, you were just laughing to yourself, and then the last song that we played before you went on your ring walk was the Transformers theme tune. Yeah. The most comments that I get on Instagram when I post your videos is about the soundtrack. in this gym. We've had Lion King, we've had Pirates of the Caribbean, we've had Will Young Evergreen.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your music taste. Where's that come
Do you know
from?
what? Like, our music taste, my music taste and our music taste is what people listen to on their headphones.
Yeah.
But they don't want the whole world to know about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's cool to listen to Drake, but not so cool listening to Will Young and Shane Ward.
Yeah, it's good. We don't take ourselves too seriously, and it's good to listen to different types of music.
Yeah. I remember being in Cornwall Gym during pandemic when I didn't have a facility to work in, and you put on some music. And first time you put on anything like this, it was Shane Ward. That's my goal. And he kind of looked at me, and I was just like, "Yeah, I appreciate this. I appreciate
the approval,
yeah. And then it ended up being Lion King and everything like that.
Yeah.
Then.
Just went from there, crazy.
Yeah, but a very different playlist going into the fight.
Yeah,
a little bit more serious.
Yeah, with the black and yellow.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wear black and yellow shorts, so it works, and I like the song.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you something that everybody asks you. The black and yellow, the Sniper the Boss.
Yes.
Where's it all come from?
Yeah, so Sniper the Boss came from my dad. When I was a kid, starting off, I was very good at throwing long shots and long punches, and he was like, okay, he's like a sniper. And but you're the best at that. You're the boss. So he put it together, Sniper the Boss. And I've had that name since I was 7 years old.
Yeah. It's very different. Nobody else has got that.
Yeah, I didn't think much of it at the time.
Yeah.
Because it was, my dad wrote it in my boxing glove, my first boxing glove, Sniper the Boss. And I was like, I didn't think much of it at the time, but I've always had that name.
Yeah.
And with the black and yellows, Muhammad Ali, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. And my style resonates with that. So
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I just stick with it.
Talking about Muhammad Ali, what is he your favourite fighter that you look up to, and what other influences have you had on your style?
Yeah, so Muhammad Ali is one of them. The relaxed, the confidence.
Yeah.
The movement.
The sweet science.
Sweet science of boxing. And but there's other fighters like Pernell Whitaker.
Yeah, fantastic.
Mike McCallum. I've got a new favourite now, Terence Crawford. All these guys, James Toney.
Yeah.
All these guys are the ones that I watch. And if I can get to the level that they're at, or they were, or even a little bit, I'll be a very happy man.
Do you study much?
I do. Yeah. It's my job, isn't it?
Yeah.
I study, I watch these fighters, and it's just beautiful boxing.
Yeah. Smart fighters, intelligent fighters.
Yeah, and it's longevity. You know, boxing's about hitting, not being hit. And I'm good at doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, working towards your strengths rather than trying to be something that you're not.
Exactly. When it comes to winning fights, the easiest way you can win a fight.
Yeah.
Not the hardest. Why am I going to make my job harder when I can make it easier?
You could have made that job harder on.
Yeah. It's like if the shop's just down the road, straight down the road, 5-minute walk, why am I going to walk around the block that takes me 15 minutes to get to the shop if I want to get there as fast as possible?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense, does it?
No.
I'd rather walk straight.
Yeah.
So that's
boxing made easy in the simplest format.
That is how I look at life and how I look at boxing.
But you look at that fight with Gongor and Akhmaev, and you were beating him.
Yeah.
At boxing him, but then he started making the wrong decisions in the fight, and that's why he lost the fight.
That's it.
And the thing is, it's the outcome. You can't say, "Oh, I've won 9 out of 12 rounds, so I should have beat him."
Yeah.
But you're making the wrong decisions, and end up the outcome is that you've lost.
That's it. So
and that's what could have happened if you tried to stand toe to toe and try and match him for power.
Yeah.
Which you're not going to, because he's a natural puncher.
He is. Yeah. You've got to work to your strengths.
Yeah.
Stay in your own lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good attitude to have. Right, we're going to finish off this podcast with what we call 12 by 3s. So we need a timer. We've got a timer, Tommy? It's got its old Casio stopwatch. We're going to do 12 questions in 3 minutes.
Okay.
So 12 by 3s, because you should be the master at this. You're the master 12-round fighter. So you should be able to get these 12 questions in. Okay, so are we ready? Right, starting from now. So who is your favourite ever fighter?
Pernod Whitaker.
What's the best live fight you've seen, either on TV or in person?
Linares and Crawler.
What are your favourite exercises to perform?
It's hard because I like a lot of them.
You like jumping?
Yeah, squats.
Squats?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your least favourite exercise to do?
Air bike.
100%. That took a lot quicker. What's been the biggest setback of your career so far?
Inactivity.
What's the best moment of your career?
Winning on Saturday night.
Brilliant. What are 3 non-negotiable behaviours?
What do you mean?
So behaviours that are non-negotiable. So maybe it's attitude, giving 100% effort, stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, so obviously attitude, like you said. Manners, can that be one?
Yeah, that's perfect, yeah.
And respect.
Good. What's your favourite film?
Shawshank Redemption.
Straight away.
Yeah.
What's your favourite song?
Ooh. Do you know what? Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Yeah. Lion King.
Lion King.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's a good tune.
Who is the biggest influence on your career?
My dad.
What's the goals for 2022?
To be the best I can be and to fulfill my potential.
And what is your number one goal in your career?
To become a world champion.
Yeah. We've got the IBO.
We've got the IBO.
But we want one of the...
We want one of the major belts.
Good.
Yeah.
How long's that?
240.
240, you got 20 seconds. How are we going to fill it?
I was going to sing, but you know.
Go on. You got Gators. Your Gators for everyone else.
Well, for like Christmas song, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Good stuff, mate. That is a perfect way to end the podcast. Lerrone, thank you very much, mate.
Yes.
Much
Thank you,
appreciated. And I'm sure we'll get you back on the podcast probably this time next year
Yes.
for more Christmas songs
Yes.
and more titles.
God willing, yeah.
Yeah, good
That's
stuff,
the plan,
mate.
mate. Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Wicked.